Law number 3. Never feed her before you f her. Foodie call is a recent moniker invented to humorize the deceitful act of a female going on a date with a man she is not romantically interested in, unbeknownst to the man, for the sole purpose of getting a free meal. Unconditional love is the enemy of evolutionary biology. Females are incapable of loving a man unconditionally because the advancement and continuation of the human species quite literally depends on it. Here in 2021, sexual relations between men and women have never been more dire. Thanks to the advent of feminism, the dating market is a cesspool of lies, deceit, and utter despair. As a result, many men have thrown up their hands and sworn off dealing with women on a sexual level altogether. This apathetic mindset has created factions of men the world characterizes as, quote, hate groups and/or, quote, misogynistic cults. The black pill and to some degree MGTOW communities are the most prominent detractors of anything resembling pursuing females romantically on any level. In their defense, one could certainly understand why they have taken this stance. Divorce, paternity fraud, rampant infidelity, false accusations, and the rise of the #MeToo movement are all very good reasons to completely avoid sexual conquest with women. Everything men have been taught about women has been an outright lie. Consequently, most men struggle and suffer in their dating lives and have neither rhyme nor reason as to why they can't seem to get a handle on today's women. Down is up is down, left is Albuquerque, and right is peanut butter. Things are ass backwards these days, so it's no surprise that marriage and birth rates have dropped precipitously due to men walking away from relationships. However, as bad as things are, it is possible for a man to navigate and even thrive in today's sexual marketplace while mitigating the many risks involved. But doing this is far from easy. After a lifetime of gynocentric programming, it is extremely difficult, if not damn near impossible, for a man to reprogram his firmware for the purposes of not getting taken for a ride by a female. As daunting a task as this is, it can be done. There are many steps involved in completely transforming your psyche in such a way that helps you avoid disaster when dealing with women on a sexual level. But it starts with a basic understanding of how today's women operate, what their motives are, and how they execute their objectives. Enter the 49 Laws of Sharpe. It will speak freely, plainly, and will be completely devoid of political correctness or sugarcoating. If you are a man searching for answers after a breakup, a divorce, or constant sexual frustration, many of the answers you seek will be in this guide. My hope is that it serves as a jumping off point to your masculine renaissance and your path to finding true contentment as a man. Law number 1. She will never truly belong to you. It is simply your turn. This may seem like a very bleak mindset to adopt, but you can be rest assured that thinking this way will keep you level-headed if things go sideways with any particular female. You can never own a woman. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how big your dick is, or how many times she tells you, I belong to you and only you. A woman never truly belongs to you in an ownership sense. Regardless of title or circumstance, women are going to do whatever their hypergamous firmware tells them to do, and they have little control over their actions when it comes to their natural instincts as women. Today's women bounce from cock to cock, relationship to relationship, and man to man on a regular basis. They are quite literally on autopilot in terms of their romantic decisions. But understanding the grim reality that most women you get involved with will eventually move on, whether it's her choice or yours, will save you a world of disappointment. Law number 2. Never treat her like a lady if she is a She will punish you with the fury of 1,000 suns for not recognizing her for what she truly is and treating her accordingly. One of the ironclad rules a man who is unplugged from the matrix should burn into his brain is that he should never ever treat a like a lady. The common adage, the better you treat her, the worse she'll treat you, applies directly to this law. The reason punish men who treat them well is because they know they are not worthy of such treatment. Sure, they will tell the world that they deserve a good man, a good life, to be treated like a queen, and so forth. But deep down, know that they are worth nothing more than the orgasms their 3 holes provide men. Understanding this reality, they punish men for not knowing any better. Further, don't know how to act when a man of value actually treats her with respect. This is a foreign concept to her. So when being treated with such reverence and respect, they act out, misbehave, and unconsciously sabotage the relationship so that they can be thrown back to the men who treat them like the men they know they truly deserve. Law number 3. Never feed her before you f her. Foodie call is a recent moniker invented to humorize the deceitful act of a female going on a date with a man she is not romantically interested in, unbeknownst to the man, for the sole purpose of getting a free meal. There are laws against false advertising and false representation that come with stiff penalties, yet today's women willfully, wantonly, and brazenly engage in this activity with impunity on a regular basis. This act takes advantage of a man's provider instincts and his sexual desires, which makes it easy for women to feed themselves on another man's dime while misleading them about their true intentions. Abiding by this law will help you steer clear of this trap, saving you money, and most of all, save your time. Law number 4. She will never love you unconditionally. Unconditional love is for children and pets, not men. Unconditional love is the enemy of evolutionary biology. Females are incapable of loving a man unconditionally because the advancement and continuation of the human species quite literally depends on it. If women were truly able to love unconditionally, the best genes would be bred out of existence in a matter of just a few generations. Consequently, women and children would be vulnerable to the perils of the outside world. This is precisely why a woman's love is directly tied to what you are rather than who you are. Their physical and financial well-being is always in limbo. As a result, they are neither prepared nor capable of surviving on their own, not literally, but rather in a quality of life sense. So they choose men based on what they can provide. Granted, women don't always make the best decisions when it comes to mate selection. The lack of real physical danger and/or financial ruin leading to becoming destitute causes women to prioritize physical genes over resourceful genes when they are young and fertile. But expecting a woman to love you unconditionally is like asking her subconscious to entertain the thought of bearing the offspring of a man who is physically and/or mentally inferior. And because her firmware does not allow her to willfully procreate with inferior specimens of the opposite sex, this manifests itself with hypergamous decisions. Of course, women are never consciously thinking about this. They are simply following their feminine directives. So there's no need to take it personally when you admit to yourself that your woman would jump ship if you were to take a substantial monetary loss without showing the resolve to reclaim it. Put simply, if you cannot provide for and/or physically protect a woman, she will never love you. This is merely a survival mechanism, nothing more. Law number 5. Assume she is a until she proves otherwise. In a court of law, the accused is innocent until proven guilty. As such, the burden of proof is on the prosecution to prove guilt beyond all reasonable doubt. Any man or woman who has been paying attention over the last 2.5 decades has seen more than enough evidence to assume that most women are sluts. Everything from personal anecdotes, stories from friends and relatives, social media, and so forth proves beyond all reasonable doubt that most women sleep around indiscriminately. On the strength of decades of overwhelming evidence, it would behoove a man to assume that any given woman he is dealing with romantically is indeed a slut until she proves otherwise. Not adhering to this law will lead to dire consequences. See law number 2. Law 28. You will never be her first, her only, her biggest, or her best. Do not make the egregious mistake of believing a woman when she tells you, "You have the biggest I've ever seen." She tells you this to make you feel special and to make you think she can't get from anyone else what she gets from you. Resolving in your mind that your girl, or a woman you're dating, has been better, has had bigger in her than yours, and has done everything under the sun at least 24 times, with at least 24 men, will make things much easier when she tells you that the 6'4" black guy the two of you awkwardly ran into at the grocery store used to pound her senseless. This is part of the game. It's not easy to accept this, but you must. Law 24. The more she tries to convince you, the more likely the opposite is true. A telltale sign of someone who is being dishonest with you is that their explanation is long and extensive. My own mother used to tell me that she could tell when I was lying because I would try to explain myself. When she asked me, "Donovan, did you steal a cookie from the cookie jar?" And my response is, "There is absolutely positively no way I stole a cookie from the cookie jar. I mean, I'm not even tall enough to reach the counter. And besides, I've just eaten lunch, so I'm not even close to being hungry. So why would I want to steal a cookie if I'm not even hungry and couldn't reach them?" The same rule applies to women. When a woman spends 10 minutes explaining why she did or didn't do something, it becomes clear that she's being dishonest. Fortunately for men, women still haven't figured out that they tell on themselves by giving you a defense attorney-style denial with pictures, timestamps, or anything else they feel will exonerate them. Honest people are short-winded because the truth is almost always much simpler. Dishonest people tend to be very long-winded so as to cover their bases and repeat the lie to reinforce to you that they are telling the truth. The longer her explanation, the more dishonest she is being. Get all 49 laws in video, audio, ebook, or paperback form. Just go to donovansharpe.com/49laws. Link in description and up above.